Hey, God bless you. Hey, I just want to check in with you guys. From time to time, I've been posting little thoughts and things that the Lord has just deposited in my spirit over a period of time. And we've been on this thing about waiting on God. And I know a lot of people have been going through trials and tribulations. We live in a world that's like really, insane. And we're seeing biblical prophecy come to pass. And we're seeing a lot of things. But yet, the work of the Lord and the things of God are there and they're evident. And we have opportunities. And, I know there's a lot of people that are just waiting. And you go to these conferences and you hear about breakthroughs and how God has all this in store for you. But what I want to encourage you is that, yeah, God has these things and we are created for good works, which God foreordained that we would walk in them. But this is the thing that I've learned over time, guys, that every time God calls me and anoints me on an assignment, there's a waiting period. And in that waiting period, I learn and I gather information and God begins to refine and perfect that which concerns me in my spirit. So King David, he was anointed king of Israel, but he didn't become king of Israel until 17 years later. I think it was something like 14 years that or 16 years. Don't quote me on it, but it was over 14 years before he became king of Judah. And then another 7 years it was before he became king of Israel. My point is this, is that the waiting period isn't just a waiting period where God sits you on the bench and you just sit on the bench. The waiting period is a period where God begins to build you up and he begins to establish and build your character. And he begins to give you an opportunity to apply the knowledge that you've learned in that season. And it really helpful to me. Y'all know that I did Night Strike in Pomona. And I had the vision and the call of God to do Night Strike a year before I actually went out and did it. In 2004, the Lord deposited that in my heart. And in 2005, we started doing homeless ministry. And actually, right in 2006 is when I felt that call to go do something in Pomona. But I didn't get to do it until 2007. And in 2007, God released me. Listen, he anointed me in 2006, but he released me in 2007. Some of you right now are in that place where you've been anointed for a work, but you're in a waiting period, in a character building season, in a season where you're establishing your peace and your patience and you're building relationships that are going to be for that releasing of that anointing in your life. King David, he was anointed as a little boy. But when he became king, he was a man. And that's what I want to say. A lot of times God anoints us as little boys. But we begin to walk in that kingship when we become men. And that takes time. So I want to encourage you men out there that you feel that God called you and that you have a call of God in your life. And you're saying, man, when is somebody going to notice me? Or when are my pastor going to recognize me? Well, maybe it's not even about your pastor recognizing you. Maybe it's about the anointing waiting period that God has in your life. Don't go weary in well doing, for in due season you shall reap if you faint not. I love you guys. This is Gabriel. I'm up in the mountains right now, about a mile away from my pad. And me and Eli are up here, man. We're just hanging out with Jesus. I know about waiting periods, and I'm fine. I'm good. Because I know, man, that God has a work for us. And there's a moment and a season for everything. So God bless you guys. Looking forward to hearing some comments. If this ministered to you and this lifted you up or this answered something and the Spirit of God spoke to you, let me know so that I can continue to pray for you and maybe encourage you and share some of the things that I've experienced. God bless you. Missions for Him.